Welcome back to the Korean Starleague. It's your boy, Nathanias. In the bottom left, we have the red Zerg player, somebody who is absolutely no stranger to the Korean Starleague, one of the most dominant players in the online gaming community. It's Dark from Dragon Kaizu Gaming. His opponent in the northeast, the blue Protoss player. He is Nightmare. When I think about nightmares, I think about one of my favorite film series of all time, Nightmare on Elm Street. Mostly because when I'm trapped in a game against a Protoss player that has me contained with shield batteries and photon cannons and is spraying cheese emojis in my main, I do feel like Freddy Krueger has placed me in a loop, and it's not very fun. It's not very fun. That being said, this man has never cannon rushed me, so I'm not exactly sure why he has that name. Maybe he's like Nightwing, right? He's just trying to be cool. He's just trying to be cool. He feels like he's got something to prove. He's got a chip on his shoulder. That's okay. A lot of us feel that way sometimes. A lot of pressure gets put on us. I get it. So Dark, we know him for being a kind of crazy guy. Weirdly enough, I've been conditioned, because we've mostly for this KSL been doing DRG games, and he's been doing a lot of pool first or no gas. Look at Nightmare, by the way. He's trying to do the 7,000 APM denial. It's rare to see somebody try to keep it up this long. But if the probe starts mining and you don't let it finish the animation, it can keep trying again. So you just do it to deny your opponent one of their mineral patches. Hypothetically speaking, this is actually the highest value thing that you could waste your APM on in the early game. Simply because denying your opponent one of their 8 mineral patches is actually a really big deal, whether you're willing to believe that or not. Not something that you do as much with Terran or a Zerg, because your workers don't regenerate that fast, and obviously as a Zerg player you don't want to drone scout. If a Zerg player at this level sends out a drone in the first... If it sends out a drone ever, it's for a hatch. Yeah. Maybe Scarlet on her stream once did, like, the drone rush. Somebody drone rushed to Grandmaster. I don't know who they were, but they were crazy. They were crazy. That's all I'm going to say. That's one of those things that's in the restricted library section, so I don't even think I'm allowed to tell you to go look it up. You're just going to have to trust me. It was a different time. Speaking of nightmares, the Dark Shrine at 3 minutes. Okay. Well, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention, sir. Robo? Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Just has one gateway, though. Warp gate is halfway done. So I think the move now becomes... You at least need to get another gateway. You can't do this with one gate. He does have time before the Dark Shrine finishes, but I think, yeah, finish the wall. And you can do it with 2. You can do this with 2 gateways. That is completely fine, because you can warp into on the way as the prism leaves, and you can warp into when you get to your opponent's base. So, assuming that you chrono boost the gates. Or you can make your life easier and go up to 3 gates. So I also like that option. I'm a big fan of that. Guy in chat says, or knight with a K and mare as in horse. You know, that is an interesting way to look at it. That would, to have that, I mean, if he branded himself around medieval, sort of look, then I think you could have a double entendre there. I'm just not entirely convinced that's what he's going for, because there's very little that has to do with space aliens eating each other alive on distant worlds, that's kind of the StarCraft wheelhouse. Prism is almost done. DTs are on the way. The standard fare for Protoss is that you want to do either 4 for a quick snipe, and then you turn them into Archons, and you do Archon drop harass, or you're just doing DT harass, and you can do whatever number you want. There is a trademarked strategy. You do have to pay for a license to do the build, but there is the M Canning 9 DT build. He's kind of like Snoop Dogg, he really capitalized on his brand, so he's everywhere now, but it'll cost you. Third base denied beautifully by Dark. Lings get the surround right as the prism crosses, so it's all on the DTs. Do we have detection? Yes, there's a spore crawler in every base, so Nightmare goes for a pretty technical opening to try and get ahead, and it seems to go nowhere. Not feeling particular. Oh, no, that's tough. He's trying to back it up. Well, he's trying anyway. Oh, he finds the morphing archons. Oh my. Well, this is. Oh. What do you even say to that? I don't know. You're the commentator. I don't know. That sucks. Lings are going to go towards the north side. Third base, very exposed again. I think Dark's going to get another shutdown here. Dark has won so many of these Korean Star Leagues, by the way. I don't know if we have like a cool fake trophy or something, but if we did, I would want you to know that I think that it's kind of cool anyway. That's it. That's all I got. Observer goes for the scout, gets found by the overseer. Goodbye. Goodbye, Mr. Observer. Lings are going to head around again. How many times will the third base get canceled and or shut down? It really depends on the answer to another question. How many times will Nightmare try to leave his base? Oh, yeah, little hesitation. Charge is done, so I think engaging into that would have been dangerous. But if he had gotten the sentries, I think it also could have been worth it in a way, if that makes sense. So Dark this game is going big into roaches. He's got quite a few now. Roach speed is about to finish up. That's definitely one of the ways he can handle the Zealot transition out of Nightmare. As he continues to accrue bases, the fourth is almost done. And this comes back to a conversation we had with one of the earlier matchups in this tournament where that posed question becomes, oh, the third base. If you're on the third base, or actually it was earlier in this matchup, yeah. If you're on the third base and you see that the Zerg is comfortable with being on three bases against you, you gotta be really careful about attacking into them. And this is just a disgusting amount of roaches. Nightmare, the DT rush. When you do stuff like this, you end up having a lot of tech left over that you just can't really use. Hypothetically, he could kill the Overseer. He could snipe that and warp in DTs, and then that would guaranteed buy him time. But he has not attempted to focus fire down the Overseer at any point, so I think he did. Yeah, I think he'll just die here. It's just a lot of Zerg. It's a lot. Maybe the third base holds at the very end, but yeah, it's just he has charge. That's it. He just has charge, and it's roaches. So he's going for a base on the top side. Nope. At the moment, I tried to sell it a little bit more. The moment I tried to sell a little bit more of that game, then he gave up. Then he died. So, okay, let's just go to game 2 and pretend I didn't just try to fill that whole segment. M Canning with 9 DTs, TLO with 11 racks. Yeah, you get it. If you make 11 barracks, exactly, you gotta call TLO, get a visa, get a whole thing approved, background check, yada yada yada. Sometimes it'd be like that. In the bottom right, we have Dark. In the top left. No, that wasn't earlier in this series, Nathan. Oh my goodness, that was game 1. You're thinking about Nightmare's previous matchup. That's true, against DRG. It was a very good series, sorry. I actually still have it on my mind. It was a good match. In the top left, we have Nightmare. I'm like, Nate, we just loaded into game 2 of 5, and you're telling me that there was another game before that? No. Some guy's like, Nathan uploaded the video, he edited it out of order, he casted the games in the wrong order, so he put game 3 at the start of the video, and now it's all... No, I didn't do that. It would be kind of funny if I did, though. I'll have to save that idea for later. That could be an interesting concept. The games of the match are cast in a random order. That doesn't really make any sense. So the drone is here, by the way, so you can kind of assume it's going to be a proxy hatch. Now on this map, you've got such a huge wall coming out of this natural that blocking it in this way makes it, again, really hard. You gotta fill a lot of space. The effective wall area becomes larger since you can't just fill between the two closest points. This will naturally stagger it, but yeah, it's gonna be tough. Lings are making their way across the map. I probably should have mentioned Dark went pool first with this proxy hatch, so a lot of Lings are coming. We do have the Zealot exposed on the outside. The Lings want to chew the wall apart. Ideally, you want to just kill the gate. But the Zealot is going to come and poke you, and even though you want to kill the Zealot will try to run away from you, so it turns into a kind of fancy micro thing. And now that more Lings are coming, he's just going to go for the surround. This would have been huge if he could have gotten it. Oh, the second Zealot comes out. The Overlord is blocking the fight. Let me zoom in. And he's barely trying to hold on, but it's not enough. He did buy time. So even though the Zealots die, and this hatchery is going to finish, the Adept will still finish on the other side of the wall. Now here's the problem. Can he wall it off? All the creep? I don't think he can. I think he wanted to. I think he was going to try, but now the wall is just open. And that is very bad. Because he's either going to get the Adept or he's going to get the shield battery, or he'll get both. In either case, in any of those cases, that is very bad. He can't let the battery finish with the Adept still alive, though. So I think it's a good trade. Give up a Ling or two. Make sure you take that out. And now he's building a spine crawler outside of Nightmare's base. So Dark just getting absolutely down and dirty. Like we were discussing in the beginning of this match for real, Dark is a player that can just do the absolute crazy stuff. And we've seen Nightmare open up with the resonating glaive adepts on 2 bases, so he's not completely unwilling to do unorthodox strategies, if that makes sense. But Dark's wheelhouse is the madness. This right here. This is home for him. He's like Bane, deep down in a dark pit somewhere. You know, he's all cozied up. He's got his Ovaltine. He's feeling himself. He's moisturized, in his element. Dark is just absolutely, just look at that. Oh, it's just, he's getting poked to death by a space tentacle. Does anybody deserve to die like that? No. The answer is no. Oh, goodness, that poor probe. Thrown against the minerals like it's a shonen anime. Just disgusting. Well, what do you do now? You've got a queen in your main base at 4 minutes, and all you have is an adept with 27 hit points. He's got to be dead, right? Oh, no. Oh, Nightmare. I'm so sorry, buddy. In the dark, dark world. Will I get copy strike for that? I don't know. I think he's dead. GG. Probes versus Zerglings. Not an easy fight. Not an easy fight. So now we go to game 3. So if Nightmare wants any chance at all, he needs to win 3 games in a row here. He needs to win 3 games in a row. No more mistakes. Cannot let your Colossus fly into the enemy and blow yourself up. You absolutely cannot do that. That's just a bad idea. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Whew. I don't know why I was trying to spectate off of somebody else. That's crazy. I do my own observing here. I guess I could try to cheat off the other people that cast this stuff. That's too much work. In the top right, got the blue Zergy boy. He's Doc. He's leading 2-0. He's killing it. We just did a whole thing talking about how great he's doing. And a player whom I finally get to commentate in the Korean Starleague for the first time. Well, I mean, today is the first time, but this is the second match of his I'll have done now. Nightmare, the Korean Protoss player. I don't GSL Code S. I don't know that he's popped up on my radar as much recently, but maybe that's a mistake. I have a hard time keeping up with the Korean scene since I've been on the West Coast. Those 3 a.m. match time starts are absolutely brutal. But Nightmare's been there. He's played at that top level. I think it's very difficult though when you're going against probably the best. Do people believe that Dark is still the best Korean Zerg player? I guess maybe that's the question I start with. It's got to be him right up there with Solar. Ragnarok has made strides, but you know, when you think about that championship winning ability, I think Dark is still always that X factor player that when everything is on the line, he usually plays better under the pressure, right? I don't think anybody's necessarily dethroned him in that aspect. People would say maybe Solar is more of a strategist. Obviously, Rogue is a very similar prototype to Dark, but Dark's name is cooler, so I think that's when it's like Tekken when you have two fighters that all have the same moves, but they just made them graphically look a little different, you know? There's nothing there implied, by the way, other than that they both play similarly. You get a lot of aggression, you get a lot of willingness to throw yourself at your opponent's face very early on, those proxy hatches, those pool firsts. That's what we expect, and that's part of why Dark is up 2-0 this quickly, as that proxy hatch in the last game was just brutal. It was savage, and he wrecked him. He wrecked him as a result. So when the Protoss player needs to make their wall twice as big because the hatch is blocking that space, there is really not a lot you can do. So meanwhile, Stargate halfway done for Nightmare, and this is more normal again. It's kind of crazy that we just sort of skipped through because of that the proxy. That the only game I can really reference strategy-wise is still game 1, and Nightmare's DT rush obviously was not super successful. So we get to see him now play his first standard-ish macro opening while he is down 0-2. So that's not easy. That's definitely a demoralizing, difficult situation to be in. But at least we get to see him make a fair shake at it, because we know that Dark will get aggressive if you just leave him alone. He's not just gonna he's not gonna like turtle or anything. He's not going to turtle. He will move out if he can. Now here's what's interesting. Nightmare, in his previous series against DRG, he went for 3 Oracles and then didn't really touch his Stargate a whole lot after that, except for one game where Mutas came into play. Zergling does get the scout off the tower, but with the Twilight Council now coming in, it's important to point out he actually did go for a Phoenix after, so I wasn't sure how many he would make, but this game he goes Oracle into Phoenix, which you get a little bit less in terms of the map control of the Oracles, being able to just bully Lings away or pick off random queens or pick off... You can still get random drones, of course, and actually 2 drone kills for a 1 Oracle opening is actually quite nice. So I'll take it. I was going to say, don't think you should be able to get that one. Okay, 3 drones is actually pretty sick. The Adepts are still there too, so holds it down very nicely. His third base is coming in. Still pretty open on this map. That third, you've got a decent couple of angles to cover, a lot of wide open space right outside, so it can be a little bit of a nuisance to take those big fights, but once you're fully established and you move towards the 4th, it becomes a lot less of a factor. So Dark spreading across the top side. And now I got Dong Rei Gu on the mind again. Got Dong on the mind again. Sorry, guys. I think that's the only appropriate time I can ever say that. Unless it was Jaedong playing, but in that case, then I would probably say never mind. Let's just stop. Phoenix comes in, might poke an Overlord to death. No, he changes targets! Oh, no! No! Okay, that's... Wow, that's unbelievably brutal. That right there, I feel, you know, it's like one of those things the casters would actually normally miss in a game, but us seeing that is just... Guys, if you ever hang out with Nightmare, don't mention the 10 health Overlord to him, okay? That would be really rude. It would be really forward and inappropriate to mention the 10 health Overlord to Nightmare. So let's not and say we didn't. We've got that Glaives follow-up this time, though. A lot of Adepts inside the base of Dark. The drones are on the run. They're going to teleport over towards the main base. He's on the ramp, but the Zerglings are actually still kind of surrounding him. Typically, you want to push them all away, but he lost a lot more Adepts than I thought he was going to. It's actually kind of ridiculous. Did he kill almost every single one? I thought when you teleport on the ramp with Adepts, with Glaives versus Lings, I thought you just win the game. But apparently when there's a 10 health Overlord, you don't. Oh. Resting Alfredi, Torticini. Now I'm even mixing up my pastas. Well, I mean, you should mix them, honestly, because you gotta get the seasoning spread evenly, but you know what I mean. I think we're about to see Dark turn around and drop some kind of hammer again. Is that what this is? The counterattack of counters? He has +1 on the Link, so if they get into a head-to-head fight, they will win. It mostly just boils down to control, spacing, positioning, and of course the shield battery is the stasis trap. Okay, how's this for a French vanilla twist? We've got Nightmare building a fleet beacon on 2, well, it is 3 bases, but for some reason I feel like it's 2 bases because of all the Adepts he just lost. I don't know why, but my intuition is telling me to say 2, even though that's not true. He's hurting, and he starts another Stargate, so this is just going to become a rush to carriers. So it's not a 2-base play, but on 2 bases he threw away about 10 billion supply of Adepts, and now he's building carriers. So we have Lings on the map. We have Roaches in production. Roach speed is on the way, +1 air, and mind you, the Infestation Pit is already done. So it's highly likely that we see Dark go back towards what we saw in the previous game, or not the previous game, Nate. That was the proxy hatch in game 1. Right, we're just gonna see some Hydras come out, maybe a little abduct action, as it were, kind of deal, sort of thing. I don't know. Yeah, he's being very cautious about moving out because he wants to clear vision and deny creep, maybe pick off Overlords. But I think the biggest thing, I've totally completely mixed this series with the DRG one in my head, by the way. I'm sure nobody noticed or is bothered by that. But he's like kind of poking, but he doesn't want to commit past the halfway point because he also knows that he doesn't have anything else. This is all a feint to get as many carriers out as possible. He's just buying time. He wants Dark to think that he might attack him so that Dark will keep units at home, not commit too much, and just generally respect him. He wants Dark to respect him. If Dark knew that he could just A-move everything he has to this 4th and kill it right now with no difficulty at all, I think he would. I honestly think he would. If he had full vision of everything that we can all see here, there is no doubt in my mind that he would just go kill it, or would have already done it. So he's trying to be respectful. He doesn't want to overextend himself. There could be Colossi, could be Disruptors, could be, I don't know, literally anything. Could have battle cruisers. No, that's not possible. That would be cheating. But he can have anything except battle cruisers. Stasis Trap gets a few of the Lings that were trying to do a run by, and now he hits that 4th phase. And he should still be able to kill it. Don't get it twisted. There's not magically a whole lot more stuff. Okay, he runs from the Stalkers. Okay, he doesn't want to trade out too many of his Zerglings, I suppose. That's fine too. No, okay, now he's coming back once more. Wanted to wait for the Ravagers, but now the carriers are here. See, Nate, that's what you get. That's what you get for saying he was going to kill the base. Well, I told you he could have killed it a couple minutes ago. That was the whole point of the explanation. Bane Train is running into the... Oh, the force field timing could not be better. Can he deal with round 2 of the Bane Train? Yep, no, that's very, very well defended. Does not really get to kill anything. Stasis traps the other half of the Lings. The carrier count continues to rise. And Nightmare somehow has withstood a tremendous amount of attacks. But the problem with playing any kind of defensive turtle style is that your opponent has set up their macro. We've got an 80 drone Zerg who is just pumping out non-stop attacks over and over. The Roach Ravager trying to hold at the bottom of the natural ramp. Meanwhile, the Lynx are going to be able to get into the natural expansion mineral line. There's a photon cannon to block. Stalker tries to get in the way and will just barely survive with 1 hit point. Nicely done. Meanwhile, Lynx coming over to the 4th base. Uno mas. And that Nexus is gone. So I feel like Nightmare has been defending well. He's been holding on. As far as his mission of getting a bunch of carriers out is concerned, I think we can all agree he succeeded. He did get a bunch of carriers out. Now, as far as winning this game and the next 2 games in a row after that, that's when I start to get a little bit nervous. He's going to trade out a little bit against these Lings. Takes a step or two back. Stasis Sword goes off, and these Lings should be able to just swallow the army whole. The carriers just can't leave his base because he has to constantly be running home to deal with the attack. Lings in the natural, Lings inside the main. He's going for the Stargate, recognizing that tech for the carriers being so important. And while this third base has been very well defended, it's just a third. DRG, he's got this base, this base, this base, this base, this base. And honestly, at some point, I mean, technically this is almost his base. He's about to get the cannon with the Lings in the main. He does. Probes kill the Lings, but he lost the cannon. So I think when Lings run in there again, maybe it gets a little more dicey. How do you end a game like this? Person watching the video says, you build a lot of Corruptors and you aim move them to death. Because I just don't think there's enough. I think he can just max out and kill him now. The carriers themselves are not terribly weak, but they don't have upgrades, so they won't be able to deal much damage against the Corruptors. And the other issue being that there's not much that supports them. Archons can help, but like the ground army is not there. The ground army is just not there this game. Dark looking poised to take another Korean Starleague championship, makes his assault, and everything gets completely obliterated. Trying to do some Archon juggle micro, but the Banes are coming. The Corruptors have taken out the Prism, and we're going to see him. There it is, starting to caustic spray all the structures. GG. Dark, your KSL 21 champion.